She's really playful. And when she is that way, it kind of connects me to like my playful side. I'm a playful person. And so when she's kind of bringing out her humor and her joy, it allows me to kind of do the same thing. And we kind of get lost in that.
She's incredibly creative. She's really spirited. She's super funny and crazy observant. I'm always shocked how much she brings me to the present moment and how much she notices and observes things that are really beautiful that I might just have missed prior to her entrance in the world. And being 4 is it's just a really fun stage. So I just love how she sees the world, and oftentimes very entertaining. She's very blunt. She says what she means. Mm-hmm. She says what she feels, and it's just really wonderful.
Math was challenging. Mainly, when I think about my experience, my parents had just kind of really rigid and high expectations for like my performance in math. And so a lot of times when I would get ready to do a math assignment, especially like between the grades of like 1 through 5, I would have like some anxiety. And when I would approach those problems, I could do them to a certain point, and then like my anxiety or fear would take over. But luckily, at the same time, my parents made sure that we did like enriching activities over the summer. So there was a lot of routine with math. There was a lot of like practice. So that kind of helped me move past my anxiety. But I'm still unlearning that anxiety around math.
I had a really complicated relationship with math. And what's really interesting is I reflect back and think about how a teacher's perception of my performance mathematically really influenced me. So in 5th grade, I got put on the advanced math track in my school and went into that program. In 7th grade, had a less effective educator who I really struggled with. And I think that I fell behind and literally never caught up. And so I developed a relationship with math that I didn't even know what I didn't know. I didn't know how to ask questions about math. Yeah. I felt so lost that I couldn't even necessarily access assistance from my teachers because I was so confused and so behind that I think I had a lot of learned helplessness. I just gave up. And that has stuck with me since middle school, right? So I very much see that as a part of my identity, that I am someone who is not good at math.
We have been intentional about how we frame math. Yeah. And we're not trying to swing, I'm not trying to swing the pendulum so far to where like it's like low expectations, but what it is, it's play, right?
Mm-hmm. It's problem solving.
It's problem solving. It's like math in the environment, right? Yep. Like stuff that is sticky and not tied to like some sort of like future catastrophe around like not knowing math, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that she's just naturally so curious about math and how the world works, and so it lends itself really nicely to just her exploration of or like interest in math. She wants to count quantities, she wants to manipulate numbers, she wants to just figure out how the world works through math.
We try to like frame her interests in ways that are sticky, right? And so when she is doing a math thing, we might say, you know, I can tell that you really are into numbers. Wow, you really like to play with numbers, right? And so she can start to notice that in herself. And it's not about us being like, do the next problem. What I would say to educators today is, 1, keep it light. 2, make math sticky, like tie it to concepts in the environment. And 3, infuse joy into math. Math doesn't have to be daunting. It doesn't have to be existential. Like, keep it light. Keep it tied to relationships.
Yeah, and I think as the parent of non-white girls, the intersectionality around their identity, I want teachers to believe that they're capable of doing absolutely anything with math and anything just within the STEM field overall. So I would just hope that the intrinsic interest that she's already showing is nurtured and that she's offered the opportunity to soar and just do whatever she wants to do within her passions. I think what would make us as a family feel welcome at a school is just to really have teachers show an interest in understanding who we are and what makes us unique and what's important to us, centering our values, and also giving us opportunities to play a role in the school community. I think that we are really interested in being a part of an actual school community and supporting what's happening in the classroom. And I think that we would just love to have a pathway to do that.
I want to walk into a building and know that my daughter's transracial, transcultural identity is somehow represented. She's Black, she's white, she's Jamaican, she's also from Southwest Michigan. She's complicated, and that's beautiful. Like, I want to see that. I don't want to have to guess if like she is gonna have trouble fitting in or not.
As far as communication goes, I think it's really important to understand that families don't all communicate in the same way. It's really important to meet families where they are with communication and to understand that things kind of ebb and flow with families in terms of the craziness of just family life. But I really appreciate having communication come through multiple channels of text, calls, emails, social media, that sort of thing. I think that as frequent and as diverse of channels as possible is great. And I also think, like, we know that educators are so busy, but it's really nice to be communicated with around like positive celebrations, joy, strengths, and just have strengths-based communication overall. Although we totally respect and understand why sometimes communication gets centered around problems and issues. So I think it's incredibly important for early math educators to just instill culturally responsive teaching to make sure that the strategies and the pedagogy used are reflective of what kids are seeing in their communities and in their homes and what is important to them, what they value, and also just what they find a lot of joy in, right? I think that math is such a powerful tool to access freedom in any way and their young adult and adult lives, that I just really hope that the problem solving, the grit, the use of the term yet, all of those pieces of the puzzle are utilized so that kids feel like they can be lifelong math learners.